Hello, and welcome to the vlog for session 0.
Great job, guys.
Hey.
That's 0 or O for Orion. Yeah, so for those of you who haven't been in one of our vlogs before, this is an opportunity for us to talk out of character about what just happened, about the scenes that we just did. You can ask each other questions, myself included, if you wanted to find out some behind the scenes stuff, and all that goodness. So the floor is open for anyone who wants to talk about whatever.
Rodney is the best character.
He must come to Washington.
Yeah.
I'm conflicted because I'm thinking because I usually like him, but in character, Felix does not like him, and that kind of plays on my opinion. So, in a weird way, I both like him and dislike him because Felix dislikes him a lot, and he doesn't yet have a very high opinion of Rodney.
Dang.
And that kind of plays into how I play Rodney. I like Rodney out of character a bit, but my opinions on him are affected by Felix's opinions on him.
Yeah,
and
totally understand.
To him.
Poor Rodney, man.
Poor Rodney, man.
I think Rodney's hilarious, and I cannot wait to continue to mess with him as Celeste.
I don't know. I have no idea how he's going to stick around. Oh, God.
Oh, we're going to run into him again. He's arcane.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He's going to be the next big bad.
You all got
Right.
me, but I really took these drugs to suppress my powers.
Well, you did tell him to go to Washington from your vision, so he might go there even if you
Yeah,
don't
you
stay.
did. You did tell him that's how he's gonna get rich and get his car.
And have a lot of women. Felix is not sure if he quite believes that, but it is a vision of his, and they tend to be true. But it's so weird. And
well,
Like,
if you think about it, there's a lot of customers in DC. Just saying.
there's a part of me that was hoping that it was like a Noodle Vision blue ball. Just because, like, even the Fates have a sense of humor against this guy.
yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know what's gonna happen with Rodney. We'll see.
Oh.
Rodney was sort of like a character that I just kind of pulled out of my butt at the last minute because I was
the
like,
best ones.
Rodney was not intentional at the beginning of the session, and then as we were role playing, I was like, I feel like it would be a really interesting dynamic if there was some Muggle roommate, because you know what it was? I thought about now that Avengers Endgame is coming out. Have you seen on YouTube or other, like, I think it was on DVDs as well, Thor and his roommate?
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
there was Thor and his roommate. I forgot his roommate's name, but you know, you have this god of thunder, and then you have this very normal, semi-nerdy, dorky roommate, and that was sort of like the inspiration I got for just making Rodney. It's just
Felix was one of Felix's few joys was messing with Rodney sometimes because he was just such a dope, and I feel like he sometimes just occasionally caused Felix's problems.
Yeah, I figured Rodney was like, when he asked you the question about, hey, what do you do for a living? I feel he asks you that like every evening.
Yeah,
like every time.
yeah, it was just the first time.
Yes.
That might have been the first time he actually asked you to do his fortune.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like realistically, most people would ask, what if you can see the future, why don't you just look up lottery numbers?
Yeah.
So
that would be my first question.
Out of character, I had no idea why Felix wouldn't do that, so I just came up with a reason that it wouldn't have worked.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Felix is out of character. I have no idea why he wouldn't just do that, but in character, he's just saying it kind of doesn't work like that. That doesn't usually work out. If you never get the number.
Think of that.
It's like the fates do not want you to win the lottery. They're not going to let you get rich off your missions.
And you can't really tell your own fortune that easily.
I think also it's doing stuff like that is illegal in the eyes of the Ministry of Magic because the lottery is a Muggle thing, and like
point. The only way he probably would get the lottery numbers is if he used his inner eye, and there's a chance that that would end up as a prophecy in the Ministry. It would be a very big trouble. He's not going to write that.
Yeah, that I think doing something like interfering with the Muggle lottery is very much considered illegal by the Ministry.
Yeah, and if a wizard wins the lottery, they probably would notice. So, yeah. Speaking of things that were just made up on the spot, I made up the fake crystal ball right on the spot.
It was a good job too, because your real crystal ball could have blown up.
Yeah.
I love that the very first roll of our campaign was a critical fail.
Yeah.
Setting the tone.
Technically the first 2 rolls.
Yes, technically.
It's good luck for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Getting them out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the first 2 rolls, it was the first and then the third.
Was it the third? Okay.
Yeah.
The scene, I really enjoyed the scene between Vienno and Felix near the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of drawing something completely out of my butt, the concept of Majagra completely pulled that out of my butt. But as soon as I couldn't help it, because as soon as I heard Ronick say magical assistance, and considering that you have Felix, who is someone who can't really cast magic, he has difficulty performing. So
when Felix realized that he was he was just not ready to. Felix's reaction to when he remembered that was so good.
So be honest with us. When Felix first saw those ads, was he at least tempted or intrigued somewhat, or not at all? Honestly,
he is very. I think by the time those ads came around, it's been a few years in the wizarding world, and he'd be very cynical about the subject, very skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
He's not very convinced that he'll ever be able to cast normal magic, so he's very skeptical.
Okay. I also really enjoyed the first scene between Michael and Celeste as well.
Oh, I loved it. That was fun.
What about it, or what part resonated with you, would you say, Ken?
I was just shocked about how easy the back and forth was. It's usually never that way for the first time role-playing with someone, and it was like really natural, and I really liked it. They immediately had a rapport, and it was really nice to have that.
I kind of the back and forth was very smooth. But I was getting like, not like a battle of wills, but like kind of like a back and forth, kind of like, like I can do this and then you can do this, and I don't know. I was getting kind of like they were both testing each other through that, just through like, randomly switching the languages, and then like the way that you answered some of the things. I was getting a lot of like, well, I'm going to say this. Let's see how they react to me saying this. And it was like a very like test of like personalities.
Yeah, that was awesome, because it was very much like, okay, I'm going to push you a little bit and I'm going to see how you push back. And at the same time, it was like, okay, we do have some stuff in common. We can have a good conversation, and it's enjoyable to talk to this person. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I love how the 4 of you are so different from each other. I think you complement each other very well. And I really love how Michael's character... Michael is so different from Cedric. He definitely has parts of Cedric there, but I think he's willing to not always take everything so seriously all the time. He's not as broody as Cedric is, and like the thing, like the bit with the beignets. He's like, I'm the leader of this group, so I can decide when it's legal or not. And I'm like, yes, that is so great. He has a sense of humor, which I really like. And Vienno is also very different from Pearl. Sorry, what was your
Steven.
first? Steven. He's so different from Steven because, and I think part of it might just because of your comfort level at the time, Ronick, but Steven was a lot more passive. He was a lot quieter, but Vienno is a bit more confident. He doesn't talk so far as much as the others, but he still, when he does talk, like, I like his presence.
Yeah,
it's very refreshing.
he needs to have a presence if he's going to be going to door to door to selling his stuff. So he needs to have some sort of presence that he has.
I just love that I was able to entrust you to help lead that scene with Felix. It just shows again just how far you've come as a player since you started out as someone very passive, and then here you are, like, carrying the scene. Not because I'm not saying that Jojo wasn't also carrying the scene, but like leading the scene basically.
Yeah. It was fun to be actually kind of in charge of the conversation. It was refreshing to be in that kind of situation.
I really liked Agent Seif's interactions with Celeste as well. That was really cute, having that little girl talk. And we got a little bit of insight not only with Celeste's character, but also a little bit of Agent Seif's, which is going to be very helpful when I, play as Agent Seif. Well, not necessarily as Agent Seif in the main cast, since many of you probably are watching knows what the connection is that Agent Seif has.
Yeah, I think I kind of figured that out as well when he mentioned the brother's name.
Yeah. So
I was going to comment on it, but I decided not to.
Yeah.
I really wasn't expecting this much roleplay in a session 0, and it's really nice. Normally session 0s are just, let's just talk. For me, anyways.
No,
this was so nice.
I had to hit the ground running because there's a lot. I have a lot I'm trying to cover, and I don't. If I can cheat a little bit by doing a good chunk of stuff now, it helps save time later. So.
I got really worried when you said the belts were made out of silver. I was like, damn it, Hark, you're going to kill my character immediately because silver is lethal.
I forgot, yeah. I'm glad you... Well, that's why it's important to pipe up and we can talk things through out of character and be like, okay, let's retcon that and do this instead. So, which is what you're supposed to be doing. Is if it's something isn't working, then time out, and then we'll figure it out. So.
Sorry, my character is allergic to everything but silver, so can we have a silver button? No, I'm just kidding.
This maybe is on a bit of a selfish question, but what did you all think of Felix? And how it came off?
I don't want this to sound like... I know sometimes saying this can sound condescending, but I think he was really cute. He was so, awkward. It was adorable. And I really liked it. Especially compared to, we have at least, we have one more serious character, and then we have one very flirty character, and then one just kind of silly character. It was a really good balance. I really liked him.
Yeah. Thank you.
I saw him as very reserved, especially in that conversation that him and Michael were having. I kind of liked how he was playing the cards close to his chest. Michael might have seemed very annoyed on the outside, like how he's like, well, I thought I was supposed to be the one asking questions and all of that. But inside, he kind of already knew the answer after you started asking a lot more questions to his question, and he admired that you were keeping things close to the vest, because in this line of work you kind of have to keep things close to the vest. So
Felix was feeling was due to the nature of the divide between the wizarding world and the muggle world, and the fact that Vienna was right there, who he knows is a wizard. Felix was being cautious because he figured out that Michael was a muggle, but he didn't know how much he knew. And it was a very weird situation because he didn't know how much you knew or how much you could say or what was going to be said. And he was dealing with a very odd vision that told him a lot and kind of revealed something about himself that he wasn't realized before. Felix is a big believer in his own visions. And he believes they are very important and play a big role in his life. And they are important. That's why he was... But before now, I was wondering how you guys were going to have to convince him. But when the vision happened, I slowly realized that, Felix is probably going to have to tell them that he's going to come with them. Because he knows he does. And it's important that he does. And Felix has some beliefs about things that, there are some things you're going to find out about Felix, but he does have some things that do tell him that he wants to inform him that he does want to help and do help in this area. If that makes sense.
yeah,
One thing. I'm sorry. We're going to answer that question. One thing that I definitely would like to see happen in our next recording session, because Felix knows that Michael is a muggle and is oblivious to at least Vienna being a wizard, and the fact that this organization is all about tracking down magical beings, I would love to see a scene where where Felix maybe approaches Vienna and talks to him about it and be like, so let me get this straight. You haven't told, like Michael doesn't know that you're a wizard, but you're in this group that are looking for wizards and witches. What's the deal? Like, I would love to see them converse about that, because I'm curious about what they would say.
Yeah. I'm very curious, because that is a conversation that needs to happen, because Felix knows why he's doing this. Felix knows why Felix absolutely knows why he's doing this, but he wants to know what Vienna's deal is.
Okay, so your homework for next time is to think about that conversation, like the two of you, and try to think about like what might get brought up or what questions might be asked, because I definitely want to see that happen next time.
I'm already going through those conversations in my head.
Yeah.
My question is, or I have a question. So we know that Felix has visions, and we believe that those visions are real. So that's not like a normal muggle thing. And we just offered him a job within the organization. Is that something that like Michael should like keep an eye on, or like is it like what would his superiors want him to do with that? Like, because we just invited a known like psychic to a secret organization.
Well, yes. So in the real world, we have psychics, or at least people that claim that they're psychic.
Yeah.
So my thought was, as far as Michael is concerned, this is someone who, because I think the way that I liked how Jojo had Felix word it. He was basically said something along the lines of, you guys are looking for magical beings. I guess I'm considered one of them because of what I can do, because I can see things. So if you want, I don't think that's definitive proof that magic exists.
No, yeah.
there are people that do claim to be psychics in real life, and many people believe that they are legitimately able to see into the future, or at least have a very good rate of accuracy, a decent rate of accuracy. So I think that your superiors, like for example Agent Regal, would still see them as being muggles who are psychic.
Okay.
You know, until you actually get more definitive proof that magic is real, because you haven't seen anything, you haven't actually witnessed anything magical. He's saying, I saw this and blah, 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 blah. And it's up to you to believe him or not.
Right.
It looks like the group believes him enough to hire him. And it might be a leap of faith, but we're kind of hand waving that for the for the convenience of the story. We're kind of hand waving that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that if you think it's realistic for Michael to want to keep a close eye on Felix, you're welcome to.
Okay.
So
I'm curious about is the fact that when I was talking with Saif, I had mentioned her. I had seen magical things before, but I never told Michael that. Michael has no idea I have personally witnessed magical things. I'm wondering if that's going to get back to him through Saif at some point. I'm very excited to see how that
is interesting. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know yet.
One thing I'm curious about is, based off what we figure out about Saif, I'm wondering how much she actually knows. Because it's like she actually knows a little bit more than, because of meta reasons, we have a good reason to believe that she knows more than she does. But in character, we have no idea.
Right. You in character believes that she's on the same boat as Michael and Regal and all those other people. So yes, us, the viewers, have a little bit more information. But it will be interesting to see how that plays out.
I'm looking forward to actually interacting with Saif.
Yeah, I think Saif also is a very different personality from the four of you, plus Regal. I think the whole cast is very, very diverse. So I think it'll be interesting to watch you guys interact.
All of us muggles are just so diverse. It's crazy.
I know, right?
That's muggles, man.
We are such a weird assortment of muggles and not at all wizards.
Yes.
No, it's crazy how we can do this.
I'm so excited to get into the interviews with the other guests. It's gonna be so much fun.
Great.
Yeah.
So excited.
And we actually got a bit of a preview today with Felix's vision.
Yeah.